Hanover, Germany, the 17th century seat of the British royal family. It's now the home of CeBIT, the world's largest trade exhibition by any measure. This year, over 6,000 companies came from 60 countries, including almost 2,000 from the Asia-Pacific region. In addition to the exhibits themselves, there are technical forums, marketing events, and the odd bit of entertainment. 500,000 people will attend over the 7 days in order to meet up with customers and suppliers, and often to scout out their potential competition. The gorillas of computer hardware, software, consulting services, consumer electronics, network equipment, telecom equipment, and semiconductors bring hundreds of people to their booths. The booths can be 3 stories high, with their own restaurants and elevators. Amongst these gorillas are the chimps, monkeys, and mice, with what they hope will be the next big thing. I've been attending trade shows like this in the US, the UK, Japan, and Europe for over 20 years, and this year is my 10th year at CeBIT itself. I make this trip every year to get first-hand information on what companies are planning, which companies are strong and weak, and to see how the technology landscape itself is changing over time.
I call it like liquid lens. However, this has like 2 glass. In between 2 glass, they have 2 liquid on it.
Yeah. Yes.
This is the lens we have as a product.
Yeah.
This is like prototype product. So on top
Qualitative
of that,
information like this is vital to our investment process, and this is the most efficient and reliable way I've discovered to obtain it. I'm looking for information that's not going to be in any broker research or company press release. At CeBIT, I can hear and question the CEOs of huge companies like SAP and Lucent, as well as talk with the salespeople and engineers of hundreds of smaller companies, literally following my nose to the sources of change.
I use it every day and still find things that can be changed, that can be improved, and I rely on feedback by users, so that's why it's published.
My practice over the years has been to walk every aisle of every hall and stop whenever I see anything that surprises me or that I do not understand. If nothing else, it's an incredible education firsthand from the people involved in these industries.
Okay. So this is a PDF.
Okay, so what we've just done here is just removing the cowling. So we're triggering from the PDF text, animation here. We track the animation.
Yeah.
I zoom in. You can see the subparts moving. I can change the illustration mode.
Wow. It's so fast, too. Is this what graphic? Is this like a mega graphic card?
This is
just a laptop.
It's a laptop.
Right.
It's a top-of-the-line Dell with a good graphics card.
Okay.
In years past, I saw the first MP3 player from a Korean man at a tiny booth, a card table with a sheet over it in the back reaches of Hall 8. He had only 2 units, one on the wall and one for me to listen to prove that it actually worked.
So it's a USB.
Yeah.
It's an overlay.
Yeah.
And you're using light.
It's cameras. It's two cameras.
At CeBIT, I tracked the rise of Linux, and then of Wi-Fi, and the rise and fall of dot-coms. I'm trying to read between the lines, see what is still missing or yet to come, as well as what's new or obsolete.
8 drives
plugged into your PC, and you have 3,200 gigabytes.
Gigabytes, excuse me, you're right. You're right.
3,200 gigabytes. And that slab, that 3,200 gigabytes, costs 11 grand?
Probably about 11 grand US, yes.
And the drives, what are you using?
These are Hitachi Dexstar. And
so what's why not Western Digital? Why not Mac Store? What's the
we use
trade-off?
We use both. We use
Are they
both.
all more or less
Maxtor in
interchangeable?
terms, pretty much. With SATA drives, they pretty much are.
Yeah.
In terms of capacities,
Yeah.
right? Hitachi has the biggest one, which are the
In
400s.
a 3.5.
Yes.
Right.
To the 400. So if I had Maxtor, they would only be 300.
So if you want bang for buck
less.
out of your chassis, you want
Absolutely.
you want the 400.
Bigger drives.
This is not a pre-recorded graphic.
No, it's all real time. You can change it to wireframe to see it's all rendered, change it back.
So how many polygons a second or whatever are you drawing?
Well, it's 150,000 to 200,000
Polygons a second.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's a lot. If you just take a look at the hair, you go. It's all, every hair.
So 75,000 hairs.
Yeah.
You're saying the software is tracking and modeling the graphics.
Yeah.
And the light as well.
Light as well, all lightning, all reflection on the scales and on the skin. It's all soft shadow, so you don't have the harsh shadows anymore. When she moves, the shadows moves along.
Everybody who comes to CeBIT, I think, sees a completely different side of it, like the story of the blind man and the elephant. You know, the software people in hall 3, 4, 5, and 6. You could be here all 7 days and never leave your hall. And even if you do leave your hall, the next hall is also full of software people. And for those people, CeBIT's a software show. But likewise, the telecom people in 14, 15, 16, 17 may never see something that's not telecom. And for them, it's a fixed line show. The mobile phones in 26 and Hall 1 and Hall 2, they think it's a mobile phone show. It's so big, and there are so many companies from so many industries that you really, I think there are probably very few people that see the entire show for what it is. And the interesting thing is, from one year to the next, you don't know which areas are going to be important to each other. So, for instance, PDAs were separate from mobile phones. Now PDAs and mobile phones are all in the same hall, and they're all basically the same people. Networking has been separate from voice. So the telcos were in one hall, and Cisco and the other networkers in another hall. Now, of course, voice is voice over IP. It's all data, and so those people are all in the same hall, and they're all the same people. So it's CeBIT's a very, very good way to see how these industries are moving towards or away from each other, and what they're going to become in the future.